Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of HermitCraft Feed the Beast Unleashed. Oh yeah. Alright guys, so we have been working with this stuff. Well, this stuff has been going automatically, I should say, for the last couple of days, I would say. My turtle is still processing those melon blocks, putting in front of the ME transition plane, turning those into melon slices. I've actually changed this turtle. Before I was using my mining turtle that I have right here in my inventory, but you don't really need a mining turtle to place blocks. So I went ahead and made a new turtle, gave it the same program, so every 60 seconds it checks to see if it has a block in its inventory, and if it does, it just loops and places every single block in front of the transition plane and destroys them. So that's pretty cool. So we've been getting a whole bunch of seed oil here, which is great. The melon farm is doing well. I mean, it could be faster. Right now we're pretty much just waiting on melons. This has nothing in it. That has nothing in it. And the tank is almost full. But yeah, once this fills up, the inventory and the squeezer will eventually fill up. And then it'll start backing up into these deep storage units. But we haven't reached that point yet. We could speed this up by doing a much bigger farm. But at this point, I really don't know how much seed oil I need. I imagine I'm probably going to want a little bit, but to be honest, I don't even know how much we have here. How much is that? There's no interface. You can't right click on these guys. We can kind of see down there that this goes down for quite some ways, but I have no idea how much stuff is in this tank. Well, we can actually check it out. If I set my mining turtle here, we can use the computer craft turtle and a mod called Open Peripheral to actually take a look at this tank and see what's all inside, how much is there, what the storage capacity is. A lot of cool stuff. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's go into Lua real quick. So the first thing we need to do if you want to see what's in that tank, we have to make it a peripheral and we have to wrap it. So we're going to make a variable, just call it T for the tank. So we're going to say T equals peripheral. And we're going to wrap it, and this is to the right of the turtle. Okay, so now T has something. So if we do T.listMethods, we can see exactly what we can do with T. So it has the function listMethods, what I just used, and it also has a function called getTanks. So if we do T.getTanks, oh, that's right, we have to specify the direction. GetTanks to the right. Okay, so T.getTanks gives us back a table. Not very helpful. So let's make a new variable so I don't have to type T.getTanks to the right. Let's say table equals T.getTanks right. Okay, so now we can shorthand that just by saying table. So let's see, what is in table? Let's type in textutils, serialize, table, and this should put everything that's in the table into a string. It's all one line, very hard to read, but we can get some information here. We can see that there is a one table, and it says 1 equals all of this stuff, and then comma, nothing else. So this tank only has one tank in it. So like, if, for instance, if we were to put this next to, oh, I don't know, what has multiple tanks? There's a carpenter? No, it's only got one tank. Centrifuge doesn't have any tanks. Squeezer's got one tank. So if you put it next to something that has multiple tanks, you can get the information on both of those tanks, but we only have one here, so we can do like table 1 and get information about the first table, which is another table. So that's great. But what we can do is table1.name, and we can see that we have seed oil in there, so that's pretty cool. So we do table1.amount, and we can see that we have almost 250 buckets in there, so that's pretty good. That's a decent amount of seed oil. Now this is in millibuckets, so even though it looks like it's a lot, it's not really. Divide that by 1,000. And then we can also see the total capacity of the tank. We do table 1 capacity. Yeah, 256 buckets, so this tank is pretty much just about full. Now if we look up here again at this serialize, you can kind of see all this stuff in here. Amount is right there, capacity is right there, the name seed oil is right here. It's just easier to type this out and just get the value. So yeah, we have some information about this seed oil tank now. We know that it can hold 250 buckets, and we are just about full. So that's pretty cool. I brought some extra tanks here because I actually wanted to increase the capacity. So I don't know actually if this is going to be... Oh, I should probably just go into fly mode. It's going to be too difficult trying to jump up there with the super high jump of Darkcraft. Apparently it's going to be too hard to do this even with fly mode on. Just got to not hit space as often. There we go. And put that up here. Okay, so that was 10 more tanks. Now, I am not actually sure if we do this again. Yeah, that does not update. We actually have to wrap the tank again and do all those commands. So T, peripheral wrap, right. Come on. Right. Yep. Let me go table equals T dot get tanks, right. And then we can do table 1. Actually, I can just hit up a few times and get that capacity. So there we go. Now we got 416 buckets worth of storage here. Pretty cool. I think eventually I will upgrade this to either an iron tank or a steel tank or something like that. But again, I really don't know how much of a demand I'm going to need for seed oil. What I want to use it for is to make the impregnated sticks for impregnated frames to make soul frames. So I think for now we probably have enough to do that. I'm actually not sure how much it uses per each craft. Now the next question is, does a carpenter use force logs, these guys, for sticks, or not for 4 sticks, for the impregnated sticks? Let's go and break a carpenter and let's do a little experiment here. Okay, so there's my carpenter. We will stick you right here. Let's grab some seed oil. You see in the inventory, it's got the full bucket, but in my hand, doesn't look like it's got anything in it. Okay, let's put the seed oil right there. Okay, it goes in, very good. And some force logs. Yes, it does work. Okay, so force logs plus seed oil equals impregnated sticks. That's great. So we can set up a tree farm that will do force logs for our power, and we can also use extra logs to make these impregnated sticks for the impregnated frames for the soul frames. Very cool. Okay, so we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. We don't have to have separate tree farms. Awesome. Great. Let's get this back. This is the carpenter I was using for making... what is this stuff with the silk wisps? I don't remember. The apiarist gear, anyway. You have to make the cloth out of these silk wisps, and you needed the carpenter for that. But I don't know if I have any other use for it over here. I might actually just take this and use this as my impregnated stick carpenter. Okay, very cool. So the next step now, whoops, didn't mean to break that. The next step would be to get a tree farm set up. And I believe at this time in Feed the Beast Unleashed 1.1.4, you can pretty much only use the forestry multi-farm to farm the forest trees. You can use Steve's carts with the exotic tree upgrade from what I hear, but doesn't pick up all the stuff like the saplings or the forest nuggets or both or one or something like that. But the forestry multi-farm does pick up all that stuff, and that's what we want, and that's why we're going to use it. I'm also in the process of breeding these bees so we can automatically make the appetite that those multi-farms require. But now that we have a quarry and we've already done this, I don't want to switch our quarry. You see right there on the screen we got almost 1,500 appetite, and then fertilizer. We have 1,152. I've already made up a little bit of this stuff. So yeah, I mean, I think we can hold off on the bees for just a little while. Run the multi-farm tree farm with the forest trees. What the heck? There's a forest tree on top of that tree. That's weird. What the heck? Okay. So yeah, we can use the multi-farm tree farm to farm those forest trees. We can get power from that by putting the forest logs in the squeezer like we did for the quarry. And we can also make our stuff for the bees. So that is really, really cool. Okay. So the next step would be actually looking up these multi-farm blocks. Guess we just type in farm. Yeah. So I think we'll do stone brick. We can make it out of quartz, or what else? We have mossy stone, cracked stone, smooth stone. Nether brick, that's kind of cool. Yeah, but I think we'll just go ahead and make it out of just plain old stone brick. So we're going to need tin electron tubes, copper, slabs, and of course stone bricks. So that's not too bad. What else we got here? Ooh, we can do it out of lots and lots of different stuff. That is pretty cool. Okay, well, I got a little bit of crafting to do. I need to make myself a thermionic fabricator. I have not made one of these on the server yet. Let's check this out. Did they change the... I almost feel like they changed the graphic of this thing. Maybe not. Maybe it's always looked like that. I don't know. But yeah, sturdy casing, which is just bronze ingots, gold ingots, chest, and some glass. Pretty easy craft. It uses MJ. We'll probably stick it over here on this setup to get our power from it. And then the tin electron cells, I believe, is just tin ingots and then glass. I don't know. Can we look up the recipe for these things? Yeah. So it's just 5 tin, 2 redstone, melted glass gets us 4 tin electron tubes. So not too difficult. All right. Well, we're not going to make the biggest multi-farm that we need, that you can make. We're just going to make a smaller one. So let me get on building that. I'll get some things together. We'll set it up, get some force logs going, maybe set up a tank to squeeze some force juice into, and hopefully get our impregnated sticks automatically being made. So I'll take a break here and I'll see you guys in a little bit. Okay guys, so last episode I had a comment about the melon blocks, how I could turn them into melon slices using nothing more than a pulverizer. So that seems pretty cool. Now I remember you could be able to do this before, but in this pack it does not look like you can do it. So a melon block in here does nothing. So unfortunately, you can't pulverize melon blocks. There really is no automatic way to convert, melons into melon slices without actually placing the block in the world and then breaking it somehow. So that's unfortunate. But, we still have that solution with the turtle, which is working, so that's great. Okay, so I have been laying out some blocks here. I got a 3x3x4 forestry multi-farm thing set up. Well, it's in the process of being set up. I want to show you guys what I'm doing here. Okay, so we require some special blocks. Other than these farm blocks, there are a few more blocks that are necessary. So if we look in here, there's the farm... See, those are the farm blocks. Then there's the farm gearbox, which you put power into to power the farm. There's the farm hatch, where you can put items into the farm or get items taken out. There is also farm valve. These farms require water and you have to provide the water through the valve. And finally, there is the farm control. This is an on-off switch using redstone to turn the farm off if you want to. So in the past, I have really never used a farm control. I've always just stopped power to the farm gearbox, and the farm eventually runs out of power and it stops working. Works pretty good for me. I guess the farm control is just an automatic on-off switch, so it doesn't have to continue growing trees for a few more minutes. It'll just turn it off immediately, so that's kind of cool. Okay, so what I have experienced before with these farms in the previous pack, I think it was way back when we were still using the Minecraft pack when I messed with these the last time. It seemed like a farm hatch in the direct center underneath the multi-block structure would auto-eject items into a pipe. So what I've done here is I put one of those farm hatches in the direct center. So all of like the logs and the extra saplings and things like that, I think sand gets ejected out. And then it's going to be going right into an ME interface. I'm pretty sure this is going to work. I have not tried this yet, but it seems like something that would work. Okay, so I have a farm hatch here, another one. This one's ejecting the items into the ME interface. This one is for us to put items into the system. And I have it set to put dirt, forced saplings, and fertilizer into the system. And I told it to move single items or craft. And that's because of this fertilizer. This requires a craft. Now I could just, have it set to move stacks of items and then hook something else up to automatically craft these based on the level. But I think just for simplicity, we're going to do it like this. We really don't need stacks of these items going in anyway. Okay, so I have an ME level emitter here. This is going to turn the farm on and off based on how many force logs we have in the system. So I have the level emitter set to emit a redstone level or a redstone signal when the levels are above 5,000. So I think 5,000 is a pretty good number of these logs to keep on hand, especially if we're going to be using them for fuel and, you know, other things like the impregnated sticks. So 5,000 seems like a pretty good number to turn the farm off at. And then back here I have a farm valve which is being fed water through an aqueous accumulator. Well, all this stuff really isn't working at this point because I don't have the multi-block set up. And then I just ran the ME cable underground all the way over from the assembler containment wall, the MAC over here. So yep, pretty simple, pretty simple. Alright, so we should have access to all of the items. The only thing really is I do not have this deep storage unit with all my dirt hooked up. I need to get a storage bus and put this guy on it so my ME network knows I have all that dirt, because right now it only says I have 600. But yeah, I have like 23,000 of the stuff. So that's eventually something I'm going to have to hook up, but for now I don't think we need it. Right, so at this point, the only thing left to do is get this multi-block structure hooked up so we can get this thing going. So let me just go and place these blocks. Yep, and then one more level above here. And it looks kind of weird right now, but when this thing gets going, it's going to place humus, I think, at this level, so it's all going to be flat. And I think it'll be fine. If I right-click on this thing, yeah, okay, we got water, it's getting dirt, and this actually is probably going to take a little bit of time to fill up, so let me help it out a bit here. So let's get saplings. I want the 4 saplings. I want to get some fertilizer. I think just 1 is enough. Let me grab some more dirt, just to help it. Okay, just to get this thing primed up, ready to go. So saplings, oops. I think saplings go over here. It's been a while since I've used one of these things, so if I make a mistake, please forgive me. Put the fertilizer right here. This should kick on. What else are we missing? Are we missing anything else? I don't think so. Okay, so that automatically gets taken back. So what is going on? It doesn't look like it's used any of this stuff. Let's pop down here. Oh, maybe the farm control... Maybe this needs a redstone signal. Maybe I gotta do this the other way for this to work. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't used one of those farm controls before. Okay, so this still has not done anything just yet. Take that out. Okay, it is automatically filling up. Or do I have these on the wrong side? Does the saplings need to be on this side? Still not doing anything. Okay, well, give me a moment here. Let me figure out what's going on, and we'll be right back. Well, of course it's not working, you dummy. You didn't give it any power. Herp derp. So everything was hooked up except for the power, the engine that gives this thing some power. So let's turn this on. Okay, so I still don't know if that redstone signal is correct or not. Oh, goodness, get me through here. Let's see. Are we doing anything? So it looks like it's got something going on, but it's not really doing anything. No farm land. Now, again, I moved this stuff around. These are probably in the wrong spot. I don't know if that redstone signal's in the right spot. Yeah, lots of things could be going wrong here. So let me just go ahead and move this stuff around again. So we got dirt on one side, saplings on the other, and this is still not going. Okay, so it's probably the redstone signal. So let's turn this back the other way so the redstone signal's off. And... Okay, well, I think it's probably because I have maybe some of this stuff in the wrong spot. Okay, it looks like it's pulling saplings from that side, dirt from the other side. Okay, so that's pretty good. So we are doing some stuff here. So let me put the dirt over on this side, saplings over here. Okay, so I think that's all squared away finally. So we are, in fact, planting the humus. We are planting the 4 saplings. The weird bug where it doesn't make any sound as it's planting this stuff is back, apparently. So that's cool. But yeah, I think we are good to go at this point. Now, the only thing is, this is running off a force engine, which means I do have to continue to provide a liquid force and milk. But once we get a system going where we're squeezing the logs and always making new logs, I can set this up to be fully automatic, have a couple of tanks feeding into that engine. We're good to go. All right. So I guess the next thing is just to wait. Oh, man. And wait for this thing to build. Wait for the trees to start growing. The only thing I'm really concerned about is if, like, saplings and stuff that spawn over here, if the drops are going to fall down and not be picked up by the farm, because I had that problem before when I last used these farms. Apples and saplings would fall off, like, out of range of the farm, and it just would never be picked up. But I was using the largest size farm, so it was, like, pretty far away from the center of that thing when that happened. So I don't know. Maybe this is going to work, better. Maybe they improved it. We'll just have to wait and see. So I think we're good for now. I need to chop down the rest of that tree and wait for the stuff to grow. So I'll meet up with you guys in just a little bit. Okay, guys. So I've been spending a lot of time here trying to get a power system up and running. And while I don't really have a power system up and running, I do have all the fuel being automatically made. So we saw this tree farm, but since then I have added in a few lily pads of fertility. These are from Xeno's Reliquary, and if you haven't seen these before, let's check it out. Lily pad of fertility. So it's a lily pad surrounded by splash fertilizer serums. So the splash fertilizer serum is a condensed splash serum with 3 bone meal, and the condensed splash serum is a ordinary vial of water with gunpowder, netherwort, and glowstone dust. So I've been growing a little bit of netherwort right here. I was using my watering can to get a whole bunch of this stuff. I went to the nether and was flying around and just punching a bunch of glowstone. I got like, 10 stacks of glowstone. And then Joe Hills actually asked if I had any extra, and I gave him a stack of it. So that helped him out a little bit. So yeah, I made 4 of these. I put one on like each one of these diagonals. So this is helping speed up the trees to grow. I could probably add in a bunch more of these when I get around to it. That'll only help increase the amount of trees that are growing, which is pretty good. Okay, so besides that, I have also added in 2 steel tanks. One steel tank here. This is 3x3 by 6 or 7. You can make them all the way up to 8 tall. I didn't go that big. But this is getting our liquid force. You can see it holds 1,728 buckets worth of storage space. We got a little while to go before this is going to be full, but this is going to have all of our liquid force that we need for various things. I'll probably end up making, a much larger tank than this later on when we set something up over at my tree base area. But for now, I think this is pretty good for a little spawn. Our little spawn area here. We don't need anything super huge. We're not going to be doing extremely large projects. This is just to keep power going for like these machines and for our quarry if we want to do that. Each of these tanks are set up on liquid tesseracts, so I can put a liquid tesseract down somewhere and just get all my liquid force. This tank right here, same size, and we are putting in milk. Look at how fast that's going. That is crazy. All of the milk is going in this tank. So let's come down here and check out what we got going on. So off of our ME cable, I came over here with a ME basic export bus. I'm exporting force logs into a squeezer. So this is being full. The export bus is keeping this full, And then we are taking the liquid force out and into the tank here, and it's also splitting off and going into a force engine. This force engine is what's powering this entire operation. So, not bad. I could put milk in here, but to be honest, we don't need it. The squeezer's going as fast as it can, and the rancher doesn't require very much power. So just the 4 MJ that this is making, all we need. We could put the throttle in there and get some milk going and get 10 MJ, but I really don't think we need that. So for now, this is like a self-sustaining system. And then over here, we got our buddy, the cow. And this cow is producing a heck of a lot of milk. And we come in here, and you look, every time it gets milk from it, it's about 2.5 buckets worth. It's quite a lot. But yeah, that's filling up the steel tank with a lot of milk. Very cool. So there's our throttle, and we can and this is on a liquid tesseract too, so we can take this with us and put it down anywhere we want. A force engine. Moo. I also got the cow sitting on sound mufflers just so we don't have to hear the constant mooing as loud. Sound mufflers are a pretty cool item, and they're pretty cheap too. So a sound muffler requires a note block, which is just planks around a piece of redstone, and then surround that all with wool. Very cheap. So I put 2 of those down here just to muffle the sounds from Mr. Cow, or I guess Mrs. Cow, since we were milking her. Okay, so yeah, this is our power system. So we have the forest trees going all of the time with the lily pads of fertility, and then we are turning those logs into liquid force over here. Actually, I'm curious, how are we keeping up with logs? Force log. Okay, so we are dropping down a little bit, but we are gaining them too, so I don't know. I'm going to have to look at this for a little while to see how well this does. It almost feels like we are gaining, but I don't know for sure. Pretty awesome. All right, guys. Well, I think off camera, I'm going to probably set up a bank of those force engines somewhere around here, and then run some energy or redstone conduits around to power all of our MJ stuff, instead of having to put force engines everywhere with their own liquid tesseracts, because that's kind of silly. But yeah, I think we should probably get a power line running through here to power this farm, since this is still running off that same force engine. Oh, I guess it's out of power. Yeah, that is a problem. I need to get some stuff in there. Actually, we could right now just hook this up. Probably. Whoa. Okay. Yeah. Don't right click on tesseracts immediately after placing. That's a bug that's been in the game for a little while, actually. So let's do receive only force. Bam. There we go. Okay. So now that's got all the power we need. But like I said, I'm probably going to go around with some redstone energy conduits, so we can just have the engines in one spot and just, pipe the power around as we need it. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.